Roman Reigns and Ronda Rousey's family. This time they'll be back. Will Roman Reigns make a comeback? There are questions raised by Paul Heyman's WWE Raw tease. Paul Heyman, Roman Reigns' former wiseman, may have hinted to his impending comeback. Since this year's WrestleMania season ended, Roman Reigns has not been active. For weeks, the WWE Universe has been demanding that the OTC return to WWE television. His former wiseman, Paul Heyman, appeared to make significant allusions to his previous tribal chief in a promotional video, which added to the excitement. Roman Reigns' comeback to the WWE was alluded to by Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman made his way to the ring with his new faction, which included Braun Breaker, Seth Rollins, and Big Bronson Reed, as the May 26th episode of Monday Night Raw got underway. Inside the squared circle, the four of them stood side by side as Heyman started speaking to the crowd. He made clear allusions to Roman Reigns in the promo. In typical manner, the WWE Hall of Famer gave a brief introduction to the group's youthful stars, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, implying that they would all have bright futures. Bloodline, a reference to his time with Roman Reigns, was emphasized prominently in his speech to Braun Breaker. After that, he focused on Seth Rollins, the visionary. "Acknowledge Seth Rollins" was Heyman's opening statement, and he then dropped into a position that was almost exactly like the one he had used with Reigns in the past. This appeared to be a clear reference to Roman Reigns, who would implore the audience to recognize him at the beginning of his promos, and Heyman did the same. Following the WrestleMania 41 program, Roman Reigns was last seen on Raw. He walked down to the ring to exact revenge on Seth Rollins for stealing his wiseman from him and Paul Heyman for betraying him at WrestleMania. Rollins and Braun Breaker, who turned out to be the newest Paul Heyman guy, defeated him and CM Punk, who shared enemies. It will be fascinating to see if the fans can see the OTC return, which would be bad for his opponents, given Reigns' return was heavily hinted at on this week's Monday Night Raw. But since being eliminated by Seth Rollins and his new formidable buddy, Braun Breaker, on the Raw following WrestleMania 41, Roman Reigns has not been seen on WWE television. Roman Reigns may eventually make a comeback, according to speculations, as Money in the Bank draws near and important plotlines intensify. And it might occur before tonight's Raw. Roman Reigns will make his WWE comeback on tonight's Raw for the following 5 reasons. Reigns hasn't been active since being knocked out by Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins. However, given the events of Saturday night's main event 2025, things may be about to change. Bronson Reed, the newest member of Rollins' Dangerous Heel Squad, made an unexpected reappearance at SNME and assaulted CM Punk. Punk and Sami Zayn are obviously outnumbered now that Reed has joined Rollins and company. Now might be the ideal moment for Reigns to come back and support them. That would change things up before Money in the Bank and create a tremendous moment on Raw. WWE is known for its shocks, even if Reigns hasn't been promoted for Raw. The timing of Reigns' heroic save couldn't be better, since Rollins and his team are probably going to attack Zayn or Punk tonight, especially because Sami Zayn is slated to compete in a triple-threat MITB qualifier match. The head of the table might make a comeback, save Punk and Zayn, and declare his intention to defeat the Visionaries team. This would result in a highly anticipated Money in the Bank 2025 six-man tag team match. One of the oldest and most intense rivalries in WWE history is that between Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. Their tale isn't finished yet, spanning from their time together in the Shield to numerous betrayals and intense battles. Rollins, who has been working with Braun Breaker and now Bronson Reed, has been generating trouble lately by assaulting celebrities like Punk, Zayn, and even Jey Uso. Reigns' potential comeback tonight might mark the start of a new phase in his rivalry with Rollins, one that could culminate in a huge one-on-one match at SummerSlam 2025. It would be evident that Reigns is going for the visionary once and for all if he confronted Seth and cut a fiery promo. But following Saturday night's main event 2025, would Roman Reigns make a comeback on WWE Raw? Evaluating the likelihood. Since being attacked on Raw by Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins following WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas, Roman Reigns, the former undisputed WWE Universal Champion, has not been present. Since Bronson Reed formally joined the stable at Saturday night's main event, the fear of Rollins' faction has grown. The WWE community is currently speculating as to whether Roman Reigns will make a comeback to weekly television on Monday Night Raw this evening. Since the Stamford-based promotion has not yet revealed the OTC for the show, the likely response is no. He might, however, surprise everyone tonight. The 2025 Money in the Bank Premium Live event would be more exciting and anticipated if Roman Reigns were included in the plot against Seth Rollins and his heel squad. According to recent media reports, the undisputed tribal chief and Jason Momoa will play a significant part in the Hollywood movie Street Fighter. Therefore, WWE would like to employ Roman as much as possible before he perhaps begins his Hollywood career if the speculations that he will play Akuma in Street Fighter are accurate. But before leaving the WWE, Ronda Rousey talks about one of her last encounters with Triple H. Recently, excerpts from Ronda Rousey's autobiography have been making the rounds, and the rowdy one hasn't held back when discussing her WWE tenure. Rousey called the company a sh*t show and spoke some really nasty things about Vince McMahon. She had a lot of positive things to say about Triple H, even though it seemed like she was destroying her relationship with WWE in the process. She probably won't be returning anytime soon, though, as one of her last exchanges with the game before leaving WWE last year suggests. Rousey shared what she said to Triple H prior to quitting WWE last summer in an interview with Cage Side Seats. During our lengthy conversation, I told Triple H, I cannot be associated with mediocrity. And at the moment, they appeared content with it. And I'm hoping that has changed. Rousey tried to defend Triple H while describing the problems she faced while working in the WWE. She even went so far as to claim that things probably would have turned out differently if McMahon's power transition to the game had occurred sooner. Triple H truly believes in us and has been wonderful to the women in the firm. He believed in me, which is why I was there in the first place. I sincerely hope that Vince was gone and Triple H was in charge of things for my final run. During Rousey's most recent tenure, Triple H was officially in charge of WWE Creative, but it was a poorly kept secret that McMahon was still in command. The former chairman no longer has any influence over WWE's decisions for the first time since the mid-1980s, as TKO has taken control and McMahon was kicked off the board due to the lawsuit against him. Rousey provided proof that, as recently as last year's WrestleMania, nothing had changed. The former women's champion disclosed in the same interview that the title bout between Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley was intended to be much shorter. Flair, however, resisted that and gave the match the time it required. Rousey says the women's battles were shortened to give their male counterparts more time as recently as that show, which was less than a year ago. But in her latest autobiography, Ronda Rousey attacks Vince McMahon. Since leaving the WWE last year, Ronda Rousey is unlikely to return anytime soon. In response to the accusations made against Vince McMahon this year, Rousey said in a tweet that McMahon still has a say in events as long as Bruce Pritchard is around. This was the situation following McMahon's first retirement in 2022. It turns out that Rousey's forthcoming autobiography has a lot more of her thoughts about McMahon and his personality. In her book, Rousey writes that it's difficult to tell where the real McMahon, who has been accused of sexual trafficking, starts and where the villainous role she played on TV for decades ends. Thanks to Covalent TV for the transcription. Sometimes it's difficult to distinguish between Vince McMahon's wicked, immoral, slimeball persona as it was portrayed on television and his dubious, frequently sued, and repeatedly alleged sexual misbehavior persona. On the same page, Rousey criticizes not just McMahon but also WWE's historical treatment of women. Long before she ever transitioned from mixed martial arts to professional wrestling, she describes what it was like for female performers throughout most of the company's existence. WWE presents itself as a sports entertainment company, and similar to the entertainment business at large, there was reportedly a casting couch culture in which prominent males backstage pressed female performers for sexual favors in exchange for television. Referring back to the passages taken from the book by Covalent TV, Rousey focuses exclusively on McMahon while explaining the company's twice-yearly trips to Saudi Arabia in her explanation of how WWE PPVs operate. Rousey points out that women's rights are restricted in Saudi Arabia, and she says McMahon undoubtedly wishes he could do the same in the US. Since she claims to have seen it in her new book, Rousey is unafraid to call it that. As more people get the opportunity to read it, it is possible that additional stories like this one will come out of its pages. Since leaving WWE, she has kept up her wrestling career, appearing for ROH in November. In her latest book, Rousey targets more than just Vince McMahon. One of the two prominent WWE officials that are under investigation is still working for the company. The first of these is John Laurinaitis, who was notably fired by the business in 2022 as a result of the hush money controversy involving Vince McMahon. The public brought up Laurinaitis' name once more in January 2024 after Janelle Grant accused him of sexually assaulting her while she was working for WWE. Rousey still has a great deal of animosity toward Pritchard, who is sometimes referred to as Vince McMahon's right-hand man, even though he was not mentioned in the lawsuit. Before attacking Pritchard and Laurinaitis, Rousey made a remark about her MMA rivalry in a YouTube interview with Liv signing. "I started beef in MMA purely for publicity at first, but those other bitches didn't get the memo, so it turned personal. It's all bogus in WWE. I adore them. They can go F***CK themselves, with the exception of John Laurinaitis and Bruce Pritchard. It's true." At SummerSlam 2023, Rousey's final WWE match was against her real-life buddy Shayna Baszler in a slandered MMA rules battle. Rousey lost by fainting under Baszler's rear-naked choke submission hold. Hello, dear viewers, greetings from my channel. I hope you're having a great day. I'm Lima. Please subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the video.